Hello, everyone. So the topic for the video today is all about that dastardly inner critical voice that so many of my clients, myself included, have been run by for so many years. So the question is, how do I change the negative critical voice inside that is constantly putting me down? If you have a very strong inner bully or you have low self-esteem, this is often also the result of early childhood conditioning in a narcissistic family system. The two go together, and I'll explain why. I've said this before, but between the ages of in the womb and 7, children are in a state of hypnosis. They're in the theta brain state, meaning that they are sponges. They take in from their environment messages, words, thoughts, beliefs about themselves from their parents, and they take those on to be the truth about themselves. So they absorb an image of who they are in their parents' eyes. But not only that, you see, this is the problem when you have a narcissistic parent. They actually internalize the narcissistic parent. They internalize the voice of the narcissistic parent so that that voice can keep them in line and keep them safe, keep them in check. And we know that narcissistic parents are highly critical, they're unpredictable, and when you have one, you're walking on eggshells. So what happens? We grow up, we leave home, we're in the workplace, we've got an internalized narcissistic parent who keeps us on our toes, on eggshells, walking on eggshells, stressed out, constantly criticizing us, pushing us down, ruining wonderful things, making us feel like an imposter. Now, this is the important part. You see, we internalize the voice of that narcissistic parent. And in other words, we surrender control over our inner world to the charge of a narcissistic parent, of a narcissist. So it's a total takeover of us as an individual human being. It's control over our everything, over our independence, our way of thinking, what options we have, what's available to us. It's a total takeover. Now, narcissists, as we know, are false. Their lives are false. They have a false self, a false image. Everything is false. So we're taken over by not the truth. We're taken over by all that is false, by lies. And then we become the slave of this imposter who is a liar. But what's most important, even more important than the last important thing, is not actually this internalization at all, but the fact that as children, we accept whatever our parents tell us about ourselves to be the truth, God's truth. We accept it as, our parents are telling us who we are. We need to see ourselves reflected in their eyes to know that we're alive. And when we get those messages back that we're inadequate or unlovable in some way, we take that on to be the gospel truth about ourselves. And so herein lies this deeper issue that I'm getting to. So it's not actually that critical voice that you may hear, that sometimes reminds you of your parents. It's not the negative thoughts per se. The real problem actually is in our consent. It's in our agreement with that negative voice in our heads, which is what we did as children. We agreed, oh, yes, Mummy, I'm so sorry, so stupid. I am stupid. I know I am. Yes, you're right. And we do the same thing here. That voice comes in. Oh, yes, it's right. Look at me. Stupid. I'm incapable. We give agreement. And in that, we hand over our power. And this really is us agreeing to lies, continuing to agree to lies about ourselves. And that is what perpetuates actually the multi-generational abuse pattern. It really is. It's this. So what we have to do, we have to go back in and take charge of our inner worlds. This is the only way out. We have to go in, uncover the thoughts, but also be aware of where and when and what we're giving our consent to. And we have to debunk it. We have to call out the lie. And that's the work I do most powerfully in hypnosis. It's just wonderful when you start to pull these things out and debunk them and see how the child took it on as the truth. Meanwhile, though, I would really suggest to you sit down with a piece of paper, write down a list of the kind of key negative things that inner critic says to you. You might even do it for every area of your life because you will find the same messages come up and up and up again. So it's good to be aware of those. And then I heard this little tip on a different audio talk the other day, and it was talking about how when you hear a friend being very self-critical, it's a good idea to stop them and say, "Don't talk to my friend like that." So we can do the same for ourselves. You can say, "Oh, hey, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to my friend like that." Even that is just a beginning way of taking back charge of your inner world and bringing back the truth. You're fabulous. You're wonderful. You're meant to be here. You are lovable. It's time to own it and live it, because that is the truth. And as you can hear, I'm very passionate about this. But it is really important work to do, and hypnotherapy can speed it up 1,000 times. So if you're interested in taking back charge over this imposter within you, please do book in for a free consultation, and you can see if it's for you. I'd love that. If you're watching live on YouTube, please, if you like this, it'd be great to leave a comment or subscribe as well. I'm trying to build up my subscribers little by little. Thank you to all those who have subscribed. I really appreciate it. All right, everybody, have a lovely day, and I shall see you tomorrow for another topic. Take care. Bye now.